Welcome. It's Jason here from Awesome Freedom Lifestyle, and a question that I'm going to be asking a lot over the next month or so at the Akasha Festival Ancient Futures and just around Ubud over the next month is, what is freedom? And as you may know, I'm involved in a business called Awesome Freedom Lifestyle. And if you're going to be living an awesome freedom lifestyle, then there needs to be some kind of definition of what is freedom and what does it mean to different people. And I'm really curious about how this is going to go. Who has a similar concept of what freedom is to what I think it is. For me personally, freedom is about being in my own resonance, being in my own power, being able to live my purpose. There is this, it's really, I guess, an image that people have that because I live at the moment, I'm in Bali, and I can show you that this is the view outside my bedroom. This is what I'm looking at right now while I'm talking to you. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And the space that I have here is just magnificent in being able to be open and to be free and to do what I want. But when you get to that place of having so much choice, it really comes down to, what is it? What is that freedom that if I could choose anything, what would I choose? How would that feel? How would it feel to be free? And for me, it's that thing of the inner peace, that inner expansiveness, that the thing of feeling like I'm of service, of purpose, that I'm actually doing something that's important for me. When I think about freedom, I think about being able to say what I want without causing harm to anyone. Being able to dress as I want without offending anyone. Being able to act as crazy as I want without, it really affecting anyone. And there's this Dutch saying, and my heritage is Dutch, that do what you want in your own backyard. So having that freedom to be able to do what I want to do without it then negatively affecting other people. Now that doesn't mean that when I act a certain way that other people aren't going to get triggered and that there isn't going to be this thing of, well, I'm showing this place of freedom or I'm expressing myself in a certain way that then may trigger people, because there's, from my understanding, there's two main reasons why we get triggered by someone else. The first one is that they're showing themselves in a way that we personally would like to be more of. Someone who's acting really confident, someone who's expressing themselves out there into the world and has this air. Sometimes it can come across slightly arrogant, but it's just a place of being confident. And someone could then have this energy of, I don't really like the way they just step into the room and they act like they own it, whereas maybe there is an essence that they would like that more. Maybe they would like to actually be able to do that, have that self-confidence to be able to step into their own power more. So that's one side of it, being triggered because the other person is acting in a way or presenting themselves in a way that we actually would like to act ourselves more. And the other one is that there is an aspect of that person that is bringing up something within ourselves that we have some shame around or a personal fear around, or something along those lines where for example, I can get arrogance is another one like that, where I can get a little bit annoyed sometimes when people can be a little bit arrogant, because there is an aspect of myself that I can show up a little bit arrogant sometimes, and I kind of don't want to have that reflection show up in my world, so I get a little bit annoyed with them. But really, if we just give each other the space to be who we are, then there is a lot more room for freedom. And when we shift into freedom, it really is coming from a place of stepping out of being the victim and stepping into being in a place of freedom. A lot of the dialogue around freedom and what is not freedom is when things are done to us, when we can blame and shame others for creating an environment that we're in. My example is when I was married, and I felt constrained, I felt restricted in my expression. Now, that was my choice. That was my doing. The fact that there was another person that reflected that as closely as they did is the way the universe works. We create our world 100%. The outside world is purely just an external reflection, external manifestation of what's going on in here. And if there are places where I don't feel free in the outside world, it's because I'm not feeling free with that within. And if I can go into a place of loving myself more, appreciating myself more, recognizing my inner abundance, then that is what's going to show up on the outside, And it's such an amazing journey when we come into that place of not only defining what freedom is, but also then asking the question of, where in my life do I feel that I'm not free? Where do I feel that there are still restrictions? Where do I still feel the victim in my world? And they're big topics, and the thing is, it is subjective and it is relative, because the freedom that I have in my world right now, I feel is greater than freedom that I think that I've ever had. I have the freedom to live my days pretty much as I choose them. I get to live my days in a world where there is so much creativity, there is so much beauty. Hey, beautiful people. Hi, Sunny. Nice to see you. And I can't read Arabic but shalom. And the truth for me is just finding those places where I can feel more free. But the point that I was going to make around feeling free is that it's a constant evolution, It's this thing of stepping into my space, my love for self, my inner freedom allows me to express my freedom outside. It allows me to experience this freedom inside. And that is where I can actually then radiate that out. And, Mastering Magnificence is a program that I'm working on at the moment, and it's really about stepping into that, stepping into freedom, stepping into a place of living an awesome freedom lifestyle is about mastering my magnificence. It's about honing my magnificence. It's about owning my magnificence. It's about really being able to step into that deeper so that I can express it into the world more. And I'm really looking forward to sharing the webinar again in a couple of weeks, where I'll be going through the 4 basic stages of mastery, where we go from a place of having total blindness to what's going on in the world. Really, having zero awareness around spirituality, zero awareness of, for me, one of the big things was the shamanic path of asking permission and recognizing that everything is life, and being in communion with that, and going into this place of honoring what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So there was, first of all, the first stage is having no awareness of that. The second stage is where there's a moment. There is that plot point where things change, and all of a sudden, you know, in my case, it was when I was living with a shaman, and he was teaching me about you go to the ocean, and now every time when I go to the ocean, I actually communicate with the ocean, and I ask permission to enter, and I recognize it as a living entity, and I ask permission. And then there's that awareness, and still not really knowing that what is playing out in that world, but knowing that there is something more there. So that's the second stage. And then when we go into the third stage of learning that and practicing that and getting a deeper understanding of, you know, how I then interact with the world affects how the world interacts with me. When we come to the final stage, it's really about that place of integrating that, where it is just part of who I am. It is an essence of me. So now I am much more in tune with nature. I'm much more in communication. I'm in communing with nature. And that brings this richness. This brings this magnificence. And it brings about an awesome freedom lifestyle. So I look forward to sharing more about this with a range of people that are travelling through this crazy town of Ubud, and sharing that with you live, and getting people to express what freedom means to them. And I'd love to hear what freedom means to you. So if you'd like to leave a comment underneath, please do, and share what freedom means and where you may feel that freedom is lacking in your world right now, places where you feel that you don't have freedom. So, thank you for watching. It's always a pleasure. And live an awesome freedom lifestyle, and do whatever it takes for that. It won't be easy, but the rewards are just endless. So, thank you very much.